So no Vertigo came out, and here's some things that I found in the first hour, 2 hours. So for CT side, some of the new things that you want to be aware of are how you play this gap in the wooden fence. I can't say for sure what the best way to do this is, but I can imagine holding just this really thin angle right here might be pretty advantageous for you, even though you can get spammed. But just having this info and having some safety of getting away is a pretty big change compared to the previous version. Another thing you can do is boost on these little caution cylinders here. So you can very easily fit 2 people on them. You can boost up, and now you can kind of see the top of the upper ramp, and that's going to be really helpful for just, again, getting info, maybe getting like 1 pick, maybe 2 before they realize what's going on, and then you can fall off. You can also boost a little more to the right, or I guess left, and try to catch anyone that's coming out of the ramp. But I think, personally, just having this angle is good enough. You can throw a Molotov into this construction area with a Molotov just like that. I'm pretty sure I showcased that already in a previous video, but just a reminder. You can Molotov either end of the construction over there. Right, if you just throw it halfway into, aiming about halfway in this concrete slab on the right side of this crane, so like somewhere here, it's really general to hit the bottom. If you want to hit the top, you just have to be closer to it, and you can aim a little bit higher as well, and you'll get the top part. This side haul is probably gonna be where you're gonna be looking for new ways to play the A bomb site, because the T execute is probably gonna look very similar from before this patch, or before these changes on the A bomb site. The only concern for the A, or for the T's, is that there's a gap here and they can get peeked at any time. So my natural instinct when I saw this gap was, how can I smoke it off? You could very easily just freehand a smoke like something like this, and you should be able to cover like most of the gaps, but there's a moderately precise T-spawn smoke aiming at the bottom of this window frame where it meets the staircase and doing a jump throw. This is a 128 tick practice server, so you might have to adjust accordingly if you're 64 tick. And you should get a pretty decent smoke that covers just about most of the important angles that you are worried about. So I'm going to cut over my own video and say that there's a really nice smoke on Reddit, no surprise, that actually is a standing throw, meaning it'll work on 64 tick and 128 tick, and I'll link that in the description. So all credits to user Savio Silva. If you have that smoke up, you can actually do the same A execute as you did before. The lineups are actually going to be different for the side haul smoke, because the side haul is actually kind of wider than it used to be. So you want to have a different smoke to cover the back of it. So the old smoke for backside is still the same. This is probably the safest one just because you're behind cover, just standing on top of this grating here. Right most vertical beam, aim a little bit above it, and throw. And like before, you can throw a Molotov, find the cloud, and aim at the top left corner of the cloud, assuming it was a rectangle. And you'll have a nice molly right by that smoke. The side hall smoke is a little different. The one I found that I liked the most was right here. You want to hug the metal ramp where you have that kind of like larger gap in the center of it. Crouch, and then find this little small metal sheet on the wall, aim at the bottom of it, and left click throw. This is all while you are crouched, so make sure you stay crouched while throwing it. And you'll get a nice smoke that covers the whole vision of this area here, unless they boost, of course. You do have to worry about spams, but the way the bomb site's laid out now, it's a little harder to spam because there's many more spots that you can be in. You probably want to supplement this with a back default molly. What you can do is let your teammate who smoked from here and mollied from here, let him run out as you take his spot essentially, and just aim above uh, this little metal beam in the back to the right of the building, obviously. It's very general, and you should be able to catch most of the backside of default. I don't know if people will still play here though, because it's a little more exposed to people from a ramp, but just having the Molotov from a safe spot is a nice guarantee that people will not be there. You can also just freehand a Molotov that lands in front of the smoke that you threw to also kind of deny people trying to get past the smoke. If you're not scared of this gap for whatever reason, you can stand on this yellow rod, right where the upper part kind of starts. Find these concrete slabs again, aiming from the bottom up, 1, 2, 3, left side of that line right there, and left click throw. And that will create the same smoke from previously. Also, random tidbit, they got rid of this little, like, there used to be like a small metal railing that was slanted you could stand on here. It's not there anymore. Valve, hello? So the last thing that I wanted to mention is the fact that you can actually boost on the sandbag here now that there's a gap. So what I thought of was, if you find a way to smoke right here, which probably isn't too hard, you can freehand one. You get a teammate here, get on his head, right? If he stands at the very bottom of it, it's going to be super nice because you can just climb up. You can actually peek a lot of this, first of all. If they're not side haul and you smoke this off, you can actually peek a decent amount of the site itself. You can even have him stand closer to my left and peek a little more, but it's actually kind of crazy. You can boost on the sandbag and get up here and actually start fighting from here. And it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. I think what you could do, have that smoke. 2 people are going to boost up, while the other 2 people that are throwing smokes will come out a ramp. He waits here, clears close left, and then starts looking at site to see if anyone got past the Molotovs or are plating in the. If you're not doing this as an AXEC and you actually want to just like throw a, smoke here, again, you could come up here. You can't actually stand behind the wood fence, so don't try. You can get up here. You could probably make some noise here, and then start peeking side hall, and try to creep your way past them, and kill anyone playing back mid, rotating from B, rotating from A even. And you can get this really sick flank just boosting on the sandbag. I feel like this is overlooked. This has to be overlooked, right? Valve, hello? Like, this looks crazy to me. Just anyway, but maybe that's just Vertigo. Maybe that's what they wanted. But anyway, thanks for watching, and feel free to like and subscribe. Reddit.